Run.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to On the Run. And I'm coming at you from the lovely Arcata, Manila. It's a very pink room. There are pink walls, pink paintings, pink bed, pink bed head. Everything's pink, and so it's making me pink. I did get a little bit of sun in Cambodia, and I'm a bit of a pink Englishman, but this room is really making me look pink. So you've got Pink Andrew today. All right, let's get into the. Let's talk a little bit about where I've been. I was in Singapore last time when I spoke to you last week. And since then, I was staying at Resorts World Sentosa. Since then, I went and had a cruise on the Resorts World Cruises cruise line Genting Dream. We went up to KL from Singapore and back on a 2-day cruise. Casino was pumping, really, really good. I enjoyed myself immensely. Good food, really good food, and some nice restaurants, and quite an enjoyable trip. Then I went down to Phnom Penh, and then in Cambodia, drove down to Sihanoukville, checked out Sihanoukville. Roads all fixed there. Still some problems, of course, but not the Sihanoukville of a few years ago. Back to Phnom Penh, and then got the red eye over to Manila, where I am now, and I'll be in Manila for a week and a half or so, and then I'll go down to Cebu, spend a few days there at New Star, up to Clark Khan Casino Resort, back down to Manila for our first ever MAD event in Manila, which we, of course, will be on April 20, and then eventually over to Hong Kong for a day or two, and back to Macau in time for our MAD event in Macau, our first one for 2023 on April 25. Let's get into the news of the week over here. Start off with Macau. The Macau Health Code system was scrapped on Monday. The app doesn't work on your phone anymore. Great news. That's fantastic for Macau. Everybody hated that app. The MGTO has announced a free return ticket for foreign visitors from Hong Kong. This 2-for-1 deal that they've been having for everybody from Hong Kong since January the 13th. That ends on 31st of March. But from mid-April to June, they're going to do it for foreigners. And basically, if you buy a bus or a ferry ticket over to Macau, the MGTO will pay for your ticket back, which is a great initiative. The Macau hotel occupancy rate climbed further to 76.1% in February. And that is fantastic news. Let's see if we can get it back into the 90s. Obviously, ADRs are going up, which is great for all the hotel GMs. Macau China, MGM China, I should say, came out with its 2022 number. It was a loss of 666 million. Ouch. What a devil of a number. See what I did there? No final dividend, of course. But yeah, that was 2022. That's old hat. That's history. Let's forget about 2022 and move forward with a much better 2023. And MGM China has 190, I think it is, new tables under the table allocation the DICJ and the Macau government did for the 6,000 tables in Macau. So they've got an opportunity to make a lot more than they used to make. Over to the Philippines, where I am now. It's more fun in the Philippines. PAGCOR has set a target of 4.5 billion US for GGR in the Philippines for 2023. That is 245 billion peso, up from 215 billion peso in 2022. So what's that? Nearly a 15% increase. And who could blame them? China's reopened. The Philippines is pumping. It's a great market. And I'm here now, and I'll be going around and checking all the places out. And well done to PAGCOR, and well done to everyone in the Philippines. However, here in the Philippines, we still have this push for an immediate ban on POGOs. Senator Sherwin Gatchalian came out and said, and I quote, excuse me, the Pogo experiment failed to provide the economic benefits it had promised, and instead created new avenues for crime and corruption, damaging our country's reputation amongst political allies, foreign investors, potential tourists, and even our own countrymen. So that was a pretty damning indictment of the Pogo industry from him. He does have some support in the parliaments of the Philippines. However, I think the government itself kind of likes the revenue the Pogo industry generates, and I think it's probably here to stay. Still in the Philippines, the asking price for the PAGCOR casinos may be too high, according to Morgan Stanley. Of course, PAGCOR has now made the decision to privatize its 41 casinos. Its CEO, Alejandro Tengo, has said that privatization is amongst its top priorities. However, Morgan Stanley says the asking price of 80 billion peso may be too high. That's $1.5 billion US. Well, let's do some sums here. The revenue pre-COVID of those properties was apparently 37 billion pesos. So Morgan Stanley assumed, let's say, a 20% margin. So that would be 7.4 billion. 7.4 billion into 80 billion goes 11 times. Is 11 times multiple appropriate for for what I think we all agree are pretty rundown properties that are not positioned well against their competitors at Entertainment City, which are much more modern, the already private casinos. So it may be too expensive. The other question that Morgan Stanley raised was, are these assets absolutely debt-free? I imagine they probably are. I don't know, but I would like to find out. I imagine they probably are, given that it's government. But then again, governments can borrow against assets like anybody else. Suntrust has come out and said there are no impediments to them opening their Manila hotel casino in 2024. This is despite them defaulting or not paying their interest to some Ascent on their convertible bonds, a US $6.2 million interest that they, failed to pay. Well, Summit Ascent and Suntrust both have LET Group, the Hong Kong listed company, the former Sun City listed entity, as a parent, although the ownership is not exactly the same in the two. So, but hopefully the two can work it out. The Singapore Tourism Board, let's hop over to Singapore now. Singapore Tourism Board has agreed to a 1-year extension for the MBS expansion, and therefore presumably the expansion for RWS as well. This expansion, I think most viewers will know about it. It was announced in 2019, a Singapore 4.5 billion and therefore a US 3.3 billion expansion. It's now set to start, even though it was announced in 2019. It's now set to start on the 8th of April 2024 and be completed by the 8th of April 2028. A 4th hotel tower for MBS it will be, with a rooftop with a sky pool, a signature restaurant. That also includes an arena with 15,000 people, 1,000 more slots, which will take them to 3,500 slots, an agreement to convert the 55th floor of Tower 1 to a casino. Quite a lot there for MBS, but quite a big investment for them. But why wouldn't they? Singapore's been a great investment over the years. Their Q4 net revenues have almost doubled year on year to 682 million, with an adjusted EBITDA up 54% year on year to 273 million. So Singapore is back. As I say, I was there this past week and it was busy. So good luck to Singapore. We've done a lot of Australia stories recently with all the shenanigans down there, but just one interesting one. Crown Resorts were investigating a ransomware attack, as if, everything that's happened to Crown isn't enough. They got a ransomware attack. This was announced on Tuesday. I've heard nothing since, so maybe it went away. But Crown did come out and say no customer data was compromised, business operations were not impacted, so maybe the problem has just gone away. Over to Cambodia, NagaCorp is to begin building the main building works on the Naga 3 project by the middle of this year. I actually had dinner with a Naga executive on Tuesday night, and it was very, very nice in their Chinese restaurant, which was excellent. And I was told that all the piling works are done, and that that they're ready to go, or all the underground work has been done, so they're ready to go above ground now. What else? Nomura came out and said that Genting Malaysia's earnings, what they estimate Genting Malaysia's earnings will be, they've increased that by 6% for this year and 13% for next year on increased China visitation. They think 1.5 billion US revenue in 23, 1.75 billion total revenue in 2024. So if that's the case, that's good news for Genting. Up to Korea, well, arguably here in Manila, a story this week. Korea's Kangwon Land casino, the only casino in Korea that allows locals gaming. They have opened a Manila office for their homegrown self-made slot machine brand, KL Saberi. So they are doing the slot machine manufacturing things themselves and trying to sell slots. That's really interesting for us to see an operator also become a supplier. What do they call it? Vertical integration, I think. And finally, in Russia, in Vladivostok, Ascent, which we mentioned earlier, is the company that Suntrust defaulted on the convertible bond, defaulted their interest payment. Ascent up in Vladivostok may be seeking a local partner to operate Tigre de Cristal, their property up there, basically because of the war in Ukraine. They've suspended their phase 2 expansion because they couldn't get stuff up there and they couldn't do things because of the world's attitude towards Russia. So it may be more practical for them to just say to their Russian partner, you run the casino, not us. The profit attributable to owners in 2022 for that property was 1.5 million. That's million with an M, not billion with a B. So pretty much break even, let's call that. And that was after a 30 million loss the year before in 2021. So COVID recovery there seems to be, if not underway, maybe even complete. All right, well, that's it this week. As I say, I'm staying here in Manila at the moment. I'll be down to Cebu in a week and a half's time for a few days, up to Clark then for maybe about 5 days, and back down to Manila just in time for our MAD event at Akata Manila on April 20. If you're in Manila and you get an invite, I hope to see you there. And then, of course, over to Hong Kong and eventually Macau for our April 25 MAD event at Sofitel in Macau. So the On the Run continues. By the time I get back to Macau, it will have been 12 weeks on the road. So I'll be looking to get back to home base in Macau. But I'll only be there a few weeks and then on the run again. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. And it's bye from Manila for now. See ya.
Run.